Alright guys, so in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do an in-the-hands false riffle shuffle. Now, the name of this shuffle is the Truffle Shuffle by Derek DeGaudio. Now, you may already know this shuffle and how to do it, but maybe in this video, I can give you some tips on it and some angles on it that might make it better for you. Let's get into it. Okay, so first a demonstration of what the shuffle looks like. As you can see, it just looks like a normal shuffle, as you can see here, maybe followed by a cut. And in this case, I've kept the deck in red-black order. As you can see here, all the reds here, all the blacks there, a completely false shuffle. Alright, so there's a couple tips for you before we start practicing this shuffle. The first thing that will help you a lot is using a deck that's already sort of soft and broken in. Okay, the second thing that you want to do is you want to know how to do a regular riffle shuffle in the hands first. That'll greatly help you in this, okay? So if you can't do that, then this will be super difficult. So if you don't know how to do that, then please just go and practice the in the hands riffle shuffle, because it is a great sort of prerequisite of this shuffle. The second thing that you'll need to know how to do is a normal card spring from your thumb. Some people do it from the fingers, from the front, but in this case, you want to know how to do a card spring with your thumb from the back, just like this. You can see how all the cards are springing off the thumb there, just like this, and you'll need to know how to do that in order to do this false shuffle. So, what is happening with this false shuffle? Here's a brief overview of what's actually taking place here. So, you want to riffle off about a quarter of the deck at first. With a normal shuffle, you normally riffle off about half the deck like this, but in this case, for this truffle shuffle, you want to riffle off about a quarter of the deck like this into your hand. That way you have a bigger portion in your dominant hand like this. Next, what you want to do is basically shuffle this smaller portion in the middle of the bigger portion. So what you want to do is, with your dominant hand with the bigger portion, riffle off about half of these right here. So you do that, and then you just simply, all that's being riffled is the upper quarter of this section with this quarter section here. So you're like this. As you can see, I had this full bed down here of this shuffle, or this portion that's not being shuffled at all. So once again, you riffle off about a quarter like this, then riffle off about a quarter not being shuffled at all into nothing, and then finish by riffling together both quarters that you have left, just like this. So the whole crux of this move is simply unweaving the cards, unweaving the shuffle as the spring takes place. Let me show you what I mean here. So as we've discussed already, we do this move, we lay that bed down like this, shuffle in the quarters like this. Now you want to sort of make an A shape like this. So really the only part of the cards that are being weaved right now is these two corners in the upper half right here, these two corners there. So you want to make that A shape. Now take your thumb and begin just doing the spring with those cards on the bottom that you did not shuffle. All right, so begin springing. The thing you do first, but before anything, is just spring the cards with your dominant hand. Okay, so as you do that, what's going to happen as you start springing, you just simply unweave the cards like this. So once again, the very first thing you do is start to spring the cards before anything. Before thinking about unweaving, all you do is spring the cards, and the springing sort of aids in the unweave of the cards. Let me show you what I mean here. So you're like this, we're doing what we've talked about already, like this, making the A-frame like this, both of them's here. Now, you start springing those bottom cards like we talked about, the unshuffled cards, and as you do that, simply just move the cards out like this, and that springing is going to help make that easier. So as you're springing, you simply just move them out like this. And don't stop the spring once you've started it, because this whole springing action is the thing that simulates the riffle of the card, or the bridge of the cards. Now, we haven't yet talked about what the other hand is doing, the non-dominant hand is doing. So as you're doing the spring and you're moving them out like this, As you can see here, you want to keep these bent like this by just applying the pressure down with your thumb like this. That's going to simulate the bridge of the card, so the bending of this other packet is very, very important as well. So here's the whole thing at full speed one more time from the over-the-shoulder view. So you're like this, and the shuffle is done. And from the front, it just looks like a normal shuffle. Now to hide this even more, what you're going to want to do is, or what I do is I sort of like tilt my hands up like this. I just necktie the whole thing. Sort of, instead of keeping it straight like this, which you would normally do for a regular shuffle, that's not going to look good from any angle, because people can see that, right? People can see this sort of thing happening here. So what you want to do to hide it is, like I said, bring it up, okay? So necktie the whole thing. That way the whole thing is completely and totally invisible. Because it looks like a shuffle, and it sounds like a shuffle, and the main thing you want to do is to not draw attention to your shuffling. I mean, you wouldn't do that anyway with a normal shuffle, so why would you do it with this? When you're talking and you're making eye contact, just simply do it, because they're going to pick up on the fact that you're shuffling cards, so there's no reason to draw attention to it. So, one more time from the very beginning, this is what you're doing, okay? So, remember, you riffle off about a quarter of the deck like this into your hand, and so you begin just riffling off about a quarter here. Then, simply riffle these in together, making your A-frame those 2/4 portions. Now, take your thumbs, widen the A-frame like this. Now, begin springing those bottom cards like we talked about like this, as you move your hands apart like this for the unweave. Now, this is not a true false shuffle, because the deck is technically cut during this procedure, but the good news is you're going to create a bridge where you can cut to. Let me show you what I mean here. So check this out. I'll do this shuffle for you like this. Now look at this. I completed the shuffle, and you can see here, you can see that bridge in the deck, and it's very easy to now to just cut to that bridge. Either do a Charlier cut like this, very easy to do, or just lay them on the table and simply cut to it that way. And that's a completely false shuffle, completing it with the cut. One more tip that I have for you is when you're doing this and you go to make them upright like this, you want to take your pinky, your fancy pinky here, and just support this part of the deck here, okay? You want to bring it down and just support the side of the deck here so they don't fall everywhere onto the table or the floor, okay? So let me see if I can get that on camera for you like this. As you can see, I'm doing the shuffle, and I need support or else all these cards are going to fall down. Watch my pinky here. As I'm doing this, you can see my pinky going in there to support the cards. So here it is from the head-on version again. So one more time, we do this, about a quarter down into your hand at first, as we talked about. Now just riffle off another quarter like this, and then simply riffle off into each other these 2 quarters, make your A-frame like this. As you go up, remember you need to spring those bottom cards first as you unweave them like this. Now another tip for you to even hide this even further is turn your body. I'm left-handed, so I'll turn my body to the right. So basically, your dominant hand is basically going to cover everything, okay? So if you're right-handed, you want to do this, turn to the left, okay? So I'm left-handed, so I turn to the right. Now, in this angle, combined with doing the upright shading, it's very difficult to see anything that's going on. It just looks and sounds like a shuffle. Now, I did say to practice, you want to use a broken in soft deck, but in actual performance, you want to use more of a springier, bouncy and firm deck. That way, you really get the sound of the shuffle, which is also, you know, very important as well. So here is a firmer, thicker deck of cards, and as you can see, as I do this shuffle like this, there's much more of a springier sound than using a softer deck. So practice both ways. Once you get good at using a softer deck, then you build your hand strength up and move on to a newer deck for the sound achievement. And I hope you take the time to learn this and practice this. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it will take a lot of practice because it's not that easy to do, but it's one of those shuffles that it's the best, and it's just completely, it's a solid fall shuffle, and really worth the effort and the practice that you put into it. So I hope you do that, and I hope that this video help you out. Let me know in the comments if I need to go over anything else in the shuffle, and yeah, I'm here to help, so let me know.